to get your fix. Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready to get your fix?
With the Wicks here on this beautiful Thursday, July 7th, 2022, and welcome to the show, whether that's on Facebook or on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, do me a favor, hit the like and hit the share, follow the page as well. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe, and as well as hit the subscribe, hit the notification button so you are notified every time we not only drop a video, but go live. So, forgot to turn on the old speaker to play that theme song, but that's okay, because we're here to talk about the National Football League and what has recently happened. Yesterday, we had some breaking news. If you haven't watched that video, you can. Otherwise, we are going to talk about it today. Baker Mayfield going to the Carolina Panthers. Interesting move. Is it a good one? I believe it is. But before that, we have to talk about Mr. Von Miller and what allegedly happened this offseason and him getting an offer from the Dallas Cowboys. And then we'll work our way to the Baker stuff. The Ravens bringing back a veteran pass rusher. And last but not least, we'll talk a little bit about Madden 23 and what is coming of the player ratings. So with that being said, are you ready to get your fix? So, ladies and gentlemen, today we actually, all of us, learned that Von Miller, yes, Von Miller, allegedly got an offer from the Dallas Cowboys this offseason. So I leave the question to you. What do you think, or do you think Von Miller would have made the Dallas Cowboys that much better or that much more impressive? Or what do you think Von Miller how do you think Von Miller would have made the Dallas Cowboys in general? Do you think that it would have been good? Do you think it would have been a bad move? Or just give me your thoughts basically in the comments. We'll answer them as we go. But Von Miller, this man right here, according to Ari Mirov of Pro Football, or not Pro Football Focus, of My Sports Update, he used to work for Pro Football Focus, but they said the Cowboys offered Von Miller the same 5-year, $70 million that Randy Gregory walked away from in free agency. Now, Randy Gregory had this offer, walked away, decided to sign with the Denver Broncos. So obviously, Von Miller said nope. Randy Gregory said nope. But that leaves the question kind of wide open. Why did they offer Von Miller to be a part of their team? Well, listen, that defense would have been very, very scary. We seen what Von Miller was able to do with that Rams defense last season, and taking a lot of the pressure off the other linebackers, like Leonard Floyd. Even taking the pressure off Aaron Donald. They were able to do a lot of blitz packages and make things just kind of chaotic there for opposing offenses. But apparently, Von Miller was actually open to taking a less or a pay cut or a shorter contract or not that expensive of a contract to go back home. He is from Texas. I'm not sure if it's Dallas, but I know he's from Texas or whatever. But he was willing to take less to go home. However, 5 years, $70 million was just a little too low compared to what he got from the Buffalo Bills, in which he signed a 6-year, $120 million deal. So I'll leave you guys to speculate about that. But Von Miller apparently did get an offer from the Dallas Cowboys. In the end, he said, yeah, look, I'm willing to take less money, but that is just too little. Yes, I'm at the end of my career or towards the end of my career, but I still have a lot left in the tank. And I just got done winning a Super Bowl. Okay? I expect to get paid the high bucks, the big bucks, because one day I might actually make the Hall of Fame, and he definitely might. A couple times Super Bowl champion. He won at least one time with the Denver Broncos. He might have actually won twice with them. For sure once with Peyton Manning. But then he won last year. So Von Miller has really done it all. Okay, he's been a Pro Bowler, won a Super Bowl, and blah, blah, blah. Okay? And adding him to Dallas would have been, in my opinion, that would have been awesome. Okay, I dislike the Dallas Cowboys for the simple fact that they're not America's team. The only way they're America's team is because literally you can find a fan of the Dallas Cowboys in every single state. But I call them the entertainment team because they're always in the news. They're always going to be this. They're going to be that. Oh, they're going to the Super Bowl this year. But they never do anything. Nothing happens. It's entertaining to watch. Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott. Is Ezekiel Elliott going to come out of his shell? Is he going to lose the weight and blah, blah, blah? Well, he has. He also changed his helmet too, which I don't know why that was big news, but it was for a little while. Dak Prescott's shoulder, is that hurting him? Is that continuing to be a factor in the way he performs? Probably, but should be healed by now. Their defense, Trevon Diggs, congratulations. You had a lot of picks last year, but you also led up the most yards by a defensive back in the National Football League last season. So you win some, you lose some. Micah Parsons, now he seems like he's a dog, and you add Von Miller next to Micah Parsons, and good luck. The blitz packages that you could have, the pass coverage in that linebacker core and that linebacker room would be phenomenal. The Dallas Cowboys would have been set up for a potential Super Bowl run, but yet again, it leaves me to believe that nothing would have came of it. Sorry about it. I think Von Miller ultimately in the end made the right decision in signing with the Buffalo Bills, who for the past at least 3 seasons have showed us, have proved to us that they are Super Bowl contenders and that one day, very soon, they will do so and hoist that Lombardi trophy. But Von Miller apparently getting an offer from the Cowboys and him saying no is just awesome. Okay, that is just awesome. I'm glad he chose the Buffalo Bills, chasing another ring, which he should, because that would just add another accolade to his potential Hall of Fame career. So let's move on, right? Because yesterday we learned of some massive breaking news. With the Cleveland Browns and their quarterback situation right now with Deshaun Watson, getting these civil cases kind of figured out, getting or having a jury sit in front of him and delegate whether or not he should have a year suspension or a half-year suspension or whatever the case may be, which we're going to hear about that, I believe, in the next week or two or maybe right before training camp to see what Deshaun Watson's suspension is going to be. That leaves the question in the air. Who's going to be the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns? Is it going to be Deshaun Watson? Because if he doesn't get a suspension, definitely going to be Deshaun, okay? They paid him $230 million fully guaranteed. You'd think he'd be the guy, which he would. But if he does get suspended, there were two options. One of them being Jacoby Brissett. Okay, not a bad option. He's a good backup in the NFL. Wouldn't say he's a great starter or a good starter because we've seen that with the Indianapolis Colts. Just didn't work out. But the other option was Baker Mayfield. Okay, drafted number 1 overall by the Browns, led them to their first playoff berth and playoff win in quite some time. But Baker had other plans. Baker said he moved on. Now it's time for the Cleveland Browns to move on. He doesn't want anything to do with the Browns organization. Because the Browns had multiple opportunities to sign Baker Mayfield to an extension, they did not. They did not want to, for some apparent reason. Well, because they didn't believe in him. They didn't think that he was their franchise guy. And the only problem that the Browns had trying to get rid of Baker Mayfield was the fact that he was owed, I believe, about $19 million or $18.5 million in salary, which meant that the Browns were going to have to eat quite a bit of that. And that's exactly what they did when they decided to trade him to the Carolina Panthers. Ian Rappaport tweets, a new quarterback in Carolina. The Panthers are acquiring former number 1 overall pick Baker Mayfield from the Cleveland Browns for a 2024 conditional 5th round draft pick. And that 5th round draft pick actually turns into a 4th round draft pick if Baker Mayfield plays 70% of the snaps. Sources tell him and Tom Pelissero, deal is pending a physical. He'll pass it, most likely, even though I think he had shoulder surgery right after the season ended. All parties split the financials to make it happen. So what are the financials? What are the details on this contract for Baker Mayfield? Well, Mike Garafolo went on Twitter and gave us the whole rundown. He said that the Cleveland Browns are going to pay Baker Mayfield $10.5 million this season. $10.5 million, folks, okay? They were going to have to. I said it multiple times on this show where, hey, they're going to have to eat $10 to $12 million of that contract, and that's the case. $10.5 million this season the Browns will pay Baker, which means they trimmed over $8 million in cash in salary cap space. The Panthers will pay Baker Mayfield $5 million. Mayfield agreed to trim $3.5 million off his base salary, which apparently he can earn $3.5 million with his incentive. So he's like, all right, we'll take away $3.5 million because I know I'm probably going to get that back in the long term and help the deal out, help sweeten the deal out even more for the Carolina Panthers. So that's huge. And another interesting thing, right, is that the Carolina Panthers meet up with the Cleveland Browns week 1. Fucking week 1. Carolina, Cleveland. Let's see how it goes because we all know it's probably going to be Jacoby Brissett at quarterback for the Browns versus, in my opinion, Baker Mayfield of the Carolina. He disagrees that Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. Well, stats don't lie. Playoff berths don't lie. So you be the judge. Because the quarterback room currently sits at Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Matt Corral, and PJ Walker, but we all know it's between Baker and Sam Darnold. So you be the judge. Who's the better quarterback? Huh? Who do you think is the better quarterback? Just by looking at these stats the last couple seasons, since they've been drafted. Interesting. You know, we got basically over 3,000 yards every year for Baker Mayfield passing. Over 17 touchdowns every year. Yes, he had that 21 interception year, but what are you going to do? Okay, he got better through 8 the next season. Then he kind of evened out with 13. He was injured quite a bit. But even his passer rating, up there in the 70s, at least above 75 for the most part. Got some 80s in there, some 90s. But then you look at Sam Darnold. One 3,000-yard season with the Jets. Couldn't even do it with Carolina. Interesting. Back-to-back 9 touchdown seasons. Okay. Dude cannot throw a touchdown, apparently. And about, 11 to 15 interceptions. So he's right there. Quarterback rating has never been above 90. Baker has. Baker Mayfield is the better quarterback of these two. The better one. There's a reason he was drafted number 1 overall. There's a reason he's been to the playoffs. Granted, Sam Darnold has played with the Jets. So, the Jets are the Jets. But Baker Mayfield's going to get the start for the Carolina Panthers. I get it. Carolina's paying Sam Darnold $19 million a season. But why else would Carolina go out and snag Baker Mayfield? There was even talks of Carolina going to get Jimmy G. It's because they don't believe in Sam Darnold. They want something new. That's Baker Mayfield, folks. Baker Mayfield's the better quarterback out of Sam Darnold, and I believe he has the higher ceiling compared to Sam Darnold as well. So Baker Mayfield, officially a Carolina Panther. I'm assuming he passed his physical today because, why not? He was on vacation just waiting for this call, and he finally got the old ring on the phone. So now the question is open. What does the Seattle Seahawks do? Do they go get Jimmy G? Baker's off the market now. Do they go get Jimmy G, or do they roll with Drew Lock? You could roll with Drew Lock, but Jimmy G, Drew Lock, which one would you rather have? I'd rather have Jimmy G. Man knows how to get to an NFC Championship game, has played in the Super Bowl, played behind Tom fucking Brady for how long, okay? He knows what the GOAT's all about. He knows how to play the game and how to bring himself to those games. But I think Seattle has to be very aggressive now in going to try to potentially pull Jimmy G away from the 49ers, in which they've said that basically they parted ways. Jimmy G's still there, but I think the 49ers want to roll with Trey Lance and see what he has in store for them this season. So Seattle, go get Jimmy G. Come on, let's get another breaking news, huh? How about that? Let's go do it. Because I don't know if Drew Lock's going to lead you to the promised land, but we'll find out soon enough. In other news, the Baltimore Ravens are bringing back a familiar face. Yes, that is right. The Baltimore Ravens are bringing back pass rusher Justin Houston, who played there last season, in which he, had about 49 combined tackles and 4.5 sacks. Now, Justin Houston usually gets a lot of sacks. He usually has a decent amount of sacks throughout his whole career. He even had a season where he had 22 at one point. So Justin Houston, yes, he's an old guy. He's a veteran, but he gets it done. Okay? It's a good move for Baltimore. They need to keep that team as healthy as possible and have as much depth as possible so that they can roll into the playoffs this season, which is hopefully going to happen. They signed Justin Houston to a 1-year deal. Details of the contract have yet to be released, at least from what I'm seeing. There is nothing that has come about. So before we get to the Madden 23 news, I guess there has been a little bit of some rumors swirling around where I guess Commanders owner Dan Snyder offers to appear virtually before Congress to answer questions about alleged workplace misconduct. That's big news, right? He could have done it a while ago, okay, when they actually asked him to be. You know, what was that, June 22nd, I believe it was? He said, nah, I'm on vacation, no internet, okay, gonna be in my pontoon. Dude, you're a billionaire. You're gonna figure out a way to have Wi-Fi on your pontoon, okay? Plain and simple. It's gonna happen. Unless I'm just, dumb for some reason, that's just not a thing, but it definitely has to be a thing, okay? So we let Roger Goodell go into that shit show of a hearing when they was just bickering back and forth. We have inflation and all time, we have to figure out the gun laws and all this stuff. Why are we focusing on the NFL? Okay? And then you got them asking Roger Goodell, why is Dave Portnoy banned from NFL games? Oh, I have no idea about that situation. And then, the Deflategate and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was just a shit show of a hearing. And now, finally, after they subpoenaed Dan Snyder, he's like, well, I guess we'll have to accept. That's a report. It is from Yahoo Sports or at Yahoo Sports. Let's go see Jason Owens reported this today at 5:03. So let's hope it works out. Let's hope it works out for old Dan Snyder, but I don't believe he should be an owner of the Washington Commanders no more. I think he's a scumbag. I think, he owes a lot of his season ticket holders money. He done some horrific things, but it is what it is. We'll figure it out in the coming weeks, hopefully, and maybe there's going to be another hearing. But with that being said, Madden 23, yes, this year's new Madden 23, has officially announced, per Ari Mirov of My Sports Update, that EA Sports announced that Madden 23 player ratings will be released starting on Monday, July 18th. That's huge. That's huge. We all like to see this because we all like to see our favorite players, what their overall might be. We all like to see what Madden believes is a good player or a bad player. Because Eric Kendricks of the Minnesota Vikings just seems to get screwed over every year. And I know this isn't real football, but we all fucking play the game. I mean, most of us do anyways. So we like to know what the overalls are, especially the 99 Club. And for the first time ever, First time ever, Trent Williams, offensive lineman for the San Francisco 49ers, has been welcomed to the 99 club. I believe he was the first one to get notified, and I'm pumped for him. I think he deserves it after one hell of a career so far up to this point. He only has a couple years left in the tank, I believe. So congratulations to Trent Williams on being the first ever offensive lineman to get a 99 overall. So the ratings, the player ratings for Madden will start to be released on Monday, July 18th. I'm sure they'll do it in segments. Here's the 90 overalls, here's the 80 overalls, the 60s, and then here's everybody. Or probably 70s, and then here's everybody, basically. So, with that being said, that is all that is kind of happening today in the world of the National Football League, but that's okay, right? Because we are in that dead period. Training camp is just upon us in a couple weeks, actually. So we'll have to figure out what else we're going to talk about. But there's always news. There's always something in the old back pocket that we can bring out. So with that being said, have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the weather. Stay safe. Stay hydrated. Most of all, be happy. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time, like always, on Facebook and YouTube. If you're on Facebook, hit the like, the share, follow the page, like the page. On YouTube, hit the subscribe and that notification button so that you're notified every single time we not only go live, but drop a video. Have a great one, folks. And you just got your fix with the Wix.